Chapter 1. The Planner Meets Pandemonium. Liam adjusted the strap of his meticulously organized backpack, the weight of his aspirations for his next novel pressing almost as heavily as his laptop. Salvador, Bahia. The very name hummed with a vibrant, chaotic energy that, if he was honest, made his carefully calibrated internal compass spin a little. He clutched his well-worn, dog-eared guidebook, its pages filled with his own color-coded annotations. Authentic Bahian cuisine, page 72, avoid tourist traps. Historical sites, Pelourinho, Elevador Lacerda, early morning for best light. And most importantly, cultural immersion. Be open to spontaneity, ironic, given his nature. At 30, Liam was a man of routines, a creature of habit. His previous novels, historical fiction set in meticulously researched European capitals, had been critical successes, but he felt a creative stagnation. His agent had suggested something fresh, something with soul, and Liam, in a rare moment of adventurousness, had booked a flight to Brazil, specifically Salvador, during the Lavagem do Bonfim festival. He envisioned quiet cafes, thoughtful observations, and perhaps a profound, life-altering epiphany that would translate into a literary masterpiece. He navigated the increasingly crowded streets leading towards the Bonfim church, the air thick with the scent of dende oil, sweat, and something sweet and floral. Music pulsed from every alleyway, samba, axe, the rhythmic thrum of drums. It was exhilarating, yes, but also a lot. He checked his watch, 10:37 a.m. According to his itinerary, he was precisely 3 minutes behind schedule for his pre-festival observational walk. He pulled out his pocket-sized Portuguese phrasebook, muttering a formal com licença under his breath as he tried to sidestep a group of laughing women in traditional white dresses. Suddenly, a blur of motion, a flash of sun-kissed skin, a cascade of dark curls, and an infectious, booming laugh. Before Liam could register what was happening, a lithe, powerful body spun directly into him. There was a comical oof, a tangle of limbs, and then Liam was on the cobblestones, his backpack having burst open like a piñata. His carefully laminated itinerary fluttered to the ground, landing next to a half-eaten granola bar. His expensive noise-canceling headphones lay perilously close to a puddle. And worst of all, his emergency bottle of industrial-strength hand sanitizer had rolled under a street vendor's cart. Mil desculpas. Meu Deus, você está bem? A voice exclaimed, rich and melodious, laced with genuine concern and a hint of suppressed amusement. Liam looked up, blinking. Towering over him, a hand extended, was the most impossibly handsome man he had ever seen. Dark, intelligent eyes sparkled with apology, a smile that could melt glaciers, or at least Liam's carefully constructed composure, played on his lips. He was wearing loose, comfortable clothes that somehow made him look like a Greek god, and his chest was heaving slightly, as if had just finished an energetic dance, which, Liam realized, was probably exactly what had happened. Estou. Bem, Liam stammered, his textbook Portuguese suddenly feeling woefully inadequate. He gestured vaguely at the scattered contents of his life. Minhas coisas. The man knelt, his movements fluid and graceful, already gathering Liam's belongings. Suas coisas. Não se preocupe, eu ajudo. He picked up the phrasebook, a playful smirk touching his lips. Muito formal, hein? Com licença é bom, mas aqui a gente gosta de dá licença, ou com licença, meu irmão. He winked. Eu sou Adriano, a propósito. Liam, still sprawled on the ground, felt a blush creep up his neck. His meticulously planned world had just collided with pure, unadulterated chaos, and the chaos had a name, Adriano, and he was undeniably, breathtakingly handsome. Chapter 2. The Accidental and Alluring Guide. Adriano, a whirlwind of apologies and charm, quickly helped Liam gather his scattered belongings. He picked up the laminated itinerary, his dark eyes twinkling as he scanned Liam's color-coded schedule. Pre-festival observational walk, 10:30 a.m. Muito preciso. Mas a vida aqui, meu amigo, ela não segue cronograma tão apertado. He handed it back with a theatrical flourish, a playful challenge in his gaze. Liam, still a little dazed and acutely aware of the warmth radiating from Adriano's hand as their fingers brushed, managed a weak smile. I like to be prepared. Prepared is good, Adriano conceded, his smile widening. But sometimes unprepared is better, more authentic. He gestured around at the bustling street, the impromptu music, the vendors hawking their wares. You want to see the real Salvador? Not just the Salvador from the guidebooks? Liam hesitated. His internal planner screamed in protest. This was not on the itinerary. This was, in fact, the antithesis of the itinerary. But then he looked at Adriano, so vibrant, so alive, so effortlessly a part of this chaotic, beautiful city, and he had to admit, so incredibly attractive. His usual logical processes seemed to short-circuit. I suppose, Liam managed, a faint blush creeping up his neck. Adriano clapped his hands together, a sound of pure delight. Ottimo, my name is Adriano. And you are? Liam, he offered, feeling a strange lightness in his chest. Liam. Nice to meet you, Liam, even if it was a bit impactful, Adriano chuckled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. Come, I will show you a place where the real Bahian food is, not the touristy stuff, and then, maybe, a little secret spot for the best view of the bay. Liam found himself nodding, a small, uncharacteristic smile playing on his lips. His carefully constructed plans were already crumbling, replaced by the spontaneous pull of Adriano's charisma. He followed, feeling a strange mix of apprehension and exhilaration. This was certainly not in the guidebook, but perhaps, just perhaps, it was exactly what he needed. As they walked, Adriano pointed out a man discreetly trying to pickpocket a distracted tourist. See? Adriano whispered, a mischievous grin. Sometimes, a local guide is very useful. Liam's eyes widened, and he clutched his wallet. He was starting to see Adriano's point. Chapter 3, A Taste of Bahia and a Test of Liam's Stomach. Adriano led Liam on a winding, sensory overload journey through the Mercado San Joaquim. It was a riot of sights, sounds, and smells that assaulted Liam's meticulously ordered senses. Mountains of exotic fruits he couldn't name, pungent spices, the insistent calls of vendors, live chickens squawking, and the pervasive, rich aroma of dende oil. Liam, who usually preferred the sanitized aisles of a Whole Foods, felt a dizzying mix of fascination and mild panic. This is the heart of Salvador, Adriano declared, his voice booming over the din, a wide smile plastered on his face. He gestured expansively. Everything you need you find here, and the best food. Liam tried to take notes, but his pen felt clumsy. He kept bumping into people, muttering disculpe repeatedly. Adriano, meanwhile, moved through the crowds like water, greeting vendors by name, exchanging jokes, and effortlessly navigating the narrow pathways. Try this, Adriano urged, holding out a small fried pastry. Acarajé, the true taste of Bahia. Liam eyed the deep-fried bean fritter suspiciously. It looked delicious, but also oily, and the orange paste inside looked suspiciously vibrant. What's in it? Shrimp, vatapa, caruru, and pimenta, Adriano said with a grin, emphasizing the last word. Chili, very good chili. Liam took a cautious bite. The initial flavor was incredible, savory, rich, a hint of the sea. Then the pimenta hit. It wasn't just heat, it was a volcanic eruption in his mouth. His eyes watered, his face flushed, and he started fanning himself frantically. Adriano burst into laughter, a deep, hearty sound that made heads turn. Ah, pimenta, you feel it, yes? He quickly handed Liam a plastic cup of coconut water. Here, drink this, it helps. Liam gulped it down, gasping. Helps? It feels like my tongue is spontaneously combusting. Adriano just laughed harder, his hand gently patting Liam's back. It's a Bahian baptism, my friend. Now you are truly initiated. Later, Adriano insisted Liam try a caipirinha from a street vendor. The real deal, he promised. Liam, still recovering from the acarajé, took a tentative sip. It was potent, sweet, and deceptively smooth. After 2 more sips, the edges of Salvador's chaos started to blur into a vibrant, joyful symphony. He found himself laughing more freely, pointing at things, and even attempting a few clumsy words of Portuguese beyond his phrasebook. Adriano watched him, a soft smile playing on his lips. He saw the tension slowly drain from Liam's shoulders, replaced by a genuine curiosity and a hint of mischief. Liam, for his part, was beginning to realize that authentic didn't come from a guidebook. It came from moments like these, shared with a man who was as intoxicating as the caipirinha itself. Chapter 4, 2 Left Feet and a Rhythmic Heart. The next afternoon, Adriano announced, Today, you learn to dance. Liam's stomach did a nervous flip. Dance? Adriano, I have 2 left feet, and possibly a third one that just gets in the way. Adriano merely chuckled, his eyes sparkling. Nonsense. Everyone has rhythm. You just need to find yours. He led Liam to an open-air community center where a capoeira rota was forming. The rhythmic berimbau pulsed, and bodies moved with a mesmerizing blend of martial arts and dance. Liam watched, fascinated, as men and women flipped, kicked, and dodged with incredible grace. Capoeira is a conversation, Adriano explained, his voice softening with reverence. A dialogue of movement. Watch. He then stepped into the rota, transforming from the charming guide to a powerful, elegant dancer. Liam was mesmerized. Adriano moved with an effortless fluidity, his muscles rippling, his focus absolute. He was a force of nature, beautiful and captivating. Afterwards, Adriano, still glowing with exertion, pulled Liam aside. Now, for something simpler. Samba de Rota. He put on some music, a lively, infectious beat. It's about joy, about connection. Just feel the music. Liam tried. He really did. Adriano stood in front of him, demonstrating the basic step, a simple forward and back sway, a slight hip movement. Liam, however, was stiff. His arms flailed independently of his legs. His hips seemed to be cemented in place. He looked less like he was dancing and more like he was having a minor seizure. Adriano, despite his best efforts to maintain a serious teaching demeanor, kept dissolving into fits of laughter. Now, Liam, my solto, like this. He would step closer, his hands gently guiding Liam's hips, his fingers brushing Liam's waist. Each touch sent a jolt through Liam, making him even more self-conscious. "I'm sorry," Liam mumbled, his face red. "I'm really terrible at this." "Terrible, yes," Adriano agreed, grinning. "But you are trying, and that is what matters." He moved behind Liam, placing his hands on Liam's shoulders, then sliding them down to his waist. "Relax your knees, feel the beat in your feet, let it move up." He guided Liam's body, swaying gently with him. Liam could feel Adriano's breath on his neck, the warmth of his hands, the subtle press of his body against his back. The music, which had seemed so alien moments before, now felt like a heartbeat. He wasn't dancing well, not by a long shot, but for the first time he felt a flicker of something akin to rhythm. And more importantly, he felt a profound, undeniable connection to the handsome, patient man guiding him. The laughter was still there, but now it was shared, warm, and tinged with something new and exciting. Chapter 5. Sunset Confessions and Shifting Perspectives. The vibrant chaos of the festival, while exhilarating, had a way of draining even Adriano's boundless energy. As dusk began to paint the sky in hues of orange and purple, Adriano sensed a familiar weariness in Liam. Instead of another bustling street, he led him to a quieter, elevated spot near the Farol de Barra, the iconic lighthouse standing sentinel over the vast expanse of the Bahia de Todos os Santos. They sat on a low stone wall, watching fishing boats bob gently in the distance and the city lights begin to twinkle. The rhythmic crash of waves provided a soothing counterpoint to the distant hum of the city. "You are tired, yes?" Adriano asked softly, his voice losing its usual boisterous edge. Liam sighed, a deep, contented sound. "A little, but it's good tired. Overwhelming, but good." He paused, then looked at Adriano. "Thank you for showing me all this. It's nothing like I expected, and everything I didn't know I needed." Adriano smiled, a genuine, unguarded expression. "The guidebooks, they show you the bones, I show you the heart." Liam hesitated, then found himself speaking. "I came here because I felt stuck. My writing, my life. Everything felt too predictable, too planned. I wanted to find something raw, something real, to put into my next novel. I thought it would be a solitary journey of discovery." He gestured vaguely. "Turns out it's been a very loud, very spicy, very unsolitary journey." He chuckled, a genuine, unforced sound, "And I haven't written a single word, but I feel lighter." Adriano listened, his gaze fixed on the horizon. Sometimes, the best stories are not found in books you read, but in the life you live and the people you meet. He turned to Liam, his eyes warm. "I understand feeling stuck. Sometimes, even with all this around me," he gestured to the vibrant city, "I feel like I need something new, something to push me. That's why I love teaching dance. It's about helping people find their own rhythm, even if they think they have two left feet." He winked, and Liam laughed. "You're good at it," Liam said, his voice soft, "at helping people." Adriano shrugged modestly. "It is my passion, like your writing. We all search for something to make us feel alive, yes?" He paused, then added, "Sometimes what we are searching for is not what we expect to find." The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in a final, spectacular burst of color. In the fading light, Liam looked at Adriano, truly seeing him beyond the charming facade. He saw passion, kindness, and a quiet depth. And in that moment, sitting beside Adriano, the vastness of the bay stretching before them, Liam realized that the something new he was searching for might just be sitting right next to him. Chapter 6. swept away by the Festa. The air crackled with anticipation. It was the peak of the Lavagem de Bonfim, the procession of thousands of Bahian women in traditional white dresses, carrying ceramic jars of perfumed water to wash the steps of the Bonfim church. Liam, typically averse to large crowds, found himself swept up in the joyous tide, clinging to Adriano's hand to avoid being separated. "This is incredible," Liam shouted over the rhythmic drumming and chanting, his eyes wide with wonder. The energy was palpable, a shared spiritual and cultural experience that transcended anything he had ever witnessed. Adriano grinned, his face alight with infectious joy. "This is Bahia, Liam. This is our soul." He squeezed Liam's hand, a simple gesture that sent a jolt of warmth through Liam's arm. They moved with the procession, inching closer to the church. The scent of flowers, incense, and sweat mingled in the humid air. Suddenly, a particularly enthusiastic surge of the crowd pushed them apart. "Adriano!" Liam called out, his voice lost in the din. He spun around, a sudden knot of panic tightening in his stomach. The sea of white dresses and smiling faces all looked the same. He was alone, adrift in a foreign sea of celebration. His heart pounded. He scanned frantically, his gaze darting through the throng. Then, a hand firmly grasped his arm. "Liam, acqui, Adriano." His face was etched with concern, but relief flooded his eyes as he pulled Liam closer. "You okay? I thought I lost you in the crowd." "I thought I lost you," Liam admitted, his voice a little shaky. The relief was immense, almost overwhelming. He realized with a jolt how much he had come to rely on Adriano, how much he wanted him there. Adriano kept a firm grip on Liam's hand as they continued to move. Later, as the procession reached the church and the washing began, the atmosphere shifted slightly, becoming more reverent but no less joyful. A local band struck up a lively samba. Adriano, eyes gleaming, pulled Liam into the swirling circle of dancers. "Come on, Liam, just feel it," he urged. This time, Liam didn't protest. He let Adriano guide him, their bodies moving closer, swaying to the intoxicating rhythm. Liam's steps were still clumsy, but he didn't care. He was laughing, truly laughing, his head thrown back. Adriano's hand rested lightly on his waist, his thumb occasionally brushing Liam's hip. The music pulsed through them, the crowd pressed around them, and in that moment, surrounded by the vibrant energy of Salvador, Liam felt a connection to Adriano that transcended words, a silent promise in the rhythm of their bodies. Their eyes met, and in the shared exhilaration, a spark ignited, undeniable and electric. Chapter 7. The Misguided Mango Serenade. Liam was buzzing. The festival, the connection with Adriano, the sheer unadulterated joy he was experiencing, it had all coalesced into a profound sense of inspiration. He hadn't written a word, but his mind was overflowing with vibrant scenes and authentic emotions, and at the center of it all was Adriano. He wanted to show Adriano how he felt. He wanted to do something grand, something romantic, something that screamed, "I'm embracing this culture." He remembered reading about serenades in a travel article about Latin America. Perfect, and had seen Adriano enjoy mangoes so much. A mango serenade. It was genius, or so he thought. That evening, armed with a slightly overripe mango, the best he could find at the local market, though it had a suspicious bruise, and having secretly practiced a few lines of a popular Brazilian love song had found online, lyrics translated by a very confused hotel concierge, Liam stood outside Adriano's apartment building. The street was quiet, save for the distant thrum of music from a nearby bar. Liam took a deep breath, clutched the mango like a microphone, and launched into his performance. "Você é o meu sol, meu paraíso," he crooned, his voice cracking on the high notes. He sounded less like a romantic crooner and more like a strangled cat. He swayed awkwardly, trying to put emotion into his off-key delivery. The mango, warm and slightly sticky, felt increasingly ridiculous in his hand. A light flickered on in Adriano's window. Liam's heart pounded. This was it, the grand romantic reveal. The window creaked open, and Adriano's head, disheveled from sleep, poked out. He blinked, then squinted down at Liam, who was still warbling about sunshine and paradise. Adriano's expression shifted from sleepy confusion to utter bewilderment. Then, slowly, a grin spread across his face, followed by a soft chuckle that quickly escalated into full-blown, tear-inducing laughter. "Liam? O que você está fazendo?" Adriano gasped between laughs, wiping a tear from his eye. "Are you singing to my mango?" Liam's face flamed. He stopped singing mid-verse, the mango suddenly feeling like a hot potato. I was trying to serenade you, he mumbled, mortified. It's a romantic gesture, right? And the mango, because you like them. Adriano leaned out the window, still shaking with laughter. Liam, mo querido, a serenade is usually done with a guitar, not a bruised fruit. And at least a little in tune, he stifled another giggle. But it is certainly memorable. Liam felt a wave of crushing embarrassment wash over him. Had tried so hard to be spontaneous, to be romantic, to be Bahian, and had just made a complete fool of himself. He wanted the ground to swallow him whole. I'm sorry, he mumbled, looking at his feet. I thought it would be romantic. I don't know what I'm doing. Adriano's laughter softened, replaced by a tender smile. Come up, Liam. We need to talk. And maybe I can teach you a real Brazilian love song. Chapter 8. Caipirinhas, Clarity, and Cachaça. Honesty. Liam sat across from Adriano at a small, dimly lit bar, the clinking of glasses and soft samba music providing a backdrop to his mortification. He nursed a caipirinha, the lime and sugar doing little to sweeten the bitter taste of his recent embarrassment. I really am sorry about the serenade, Liam said, refusing to meet Adriano's gaze. It was stupid. I just wanted to show you how I felt, in a way that felt authentic to hear. Adriano reached across the small table, gently taking Liam's hand. His touch was warm and reassuring. Liam, it was not stupid. It was unexpected and very funny, but also very sweet. He squeezed Liam's hand. It showed me you care, and that is what matters. Liam finally looked up, meeting Adriano's earnest gaze. I do care, a lot, more than I expected to when I came here. He took a deep breath. I'm not usually like this. I'm usually so buttoned up. And you make me want to throw the guidebook away, and sometimes I make a mess of it. Adriano smiled, a soft, understanding smile. We all make a mess sometimes. That is life, and it is okay. He paused, then his eyes twinkled mischievously. Though for future serenades, perhaps a guitar and a singing lesson? Liam let out a shaky laugh, the tension finally easing from his shoulders, duly noted. But seriously, Adriano continued, his voice dropping to a more serious tone. I like you, Liam. Very much. You are different. And your earnestness, your willingness to try, even when you are so clearly out of your comfort zone, it is very charming. He squeezed Liam's hand again. I want to see what happens with us. No guidebooks, no grand gestures that involve fruit. Liam felt a warmth spread through him that had nothing to do with the caipirinha. I want that too, Adriano. More than anything. They spent the rest of the evening talking, sharing stories, and laughing. Liam learned more about Adriano's dreams, his family, his deep love for Salvador. Adriano, in turn, listened intently as Liam spoke about his writing, his fears, and the unexpected joy he'd found in Brazil. The cachaça loosened Liam's tongue, allowing him to be more open, more vulnerable than he had been in years. The air between them, once thick with unspoken tension and cultural misunderstandings, was now clear, filled with a comfortable intimacy. By the time they walked back to Liam's hotel, the city was quieter, the festival's energy still humming beneath the surface. Standing at Liam's door, Adriano leaned in, his gaze intense. No more serenades tonight? He whispered, a playful smirk on his lips. Liam laughed, a genuine, joyful sound. No more serenades. Then Adriano closed the small distance between them. His lips were soft, warm, and tasted faintly of lime and sugar. It was a kiss that promised spontaneity, laughter, and a future far more exciting than any itinerary could ever predict. Chapter 9. Adriano's Authentic Heart. Adriano woke Liam before dawn. Come, he whispered, his eyes gleaming with a secret. I want to show you something special. Liam, still half asleep but trusting, followed. Adriano led him through the quiet, awakening streets of Pelourinho, past sleeping vendors and silent colonial buildings. The air was cool, fresh, and carried the faint scent of the ocean. They arrived at a secluded stretch of beach, still deserted save for a lone fisherman casting his net. The sky was a canvas of soft grays and purples, slowly brightening. Adriano spread a worn blanket on the sand. From a small bag, he produced a thermos of strong, sweet coffee and a plate of freshly baked pão de queijo. No grand gestures, Adriano said, a tender smile on his face. Just this. My favorite way to start the day. They sat in comfortable silence, sipping coffee, watching the first rays of sun kiss the horizon. The sky exploded in a riot of oranges, pinks, and golds, painting the calm water with liquid fire. It was breathtakingly beautiful, a moment of profound peace after the joyous chaos of the festival. This is perfect, Liam murmured, genuinely moved. He looked at Adriano, his profile silhouetted against the sunrise. "Thank you." Adriano turned, his eyes soft. "I wanted to show you something from my heart, Liam. Not from a book. Something simple, but real." He reached for Liam's hand, intertwining their fingers. Like us. They talked for hours as the sun climbed higher, sharing dreams, fears, and quiet moments of vulnerability. Adriano spoke of his family, his hopes for his dance school, and his desire to travel and share Brazilian culture with the world. Liam, in turn, found himself opening up about his own anxieties regarding his writing, his fear of stagnation, and the unexpected joy and liberation had found in Salvador, largely thanks to Adriano. "You've changed me, Adriano," Liam confessed, his voice thick with emotion. "I came here looking for inspiration for a novel, and I found so much more. I found myself in a way I didn't expect, and I found you." Adriano's thumb gently caressed Liam's knuckles. "And you, Liam, you have opened my eyes too. You make me see my home, my Bahia, with new eyes, and you make me laugh, even when you are singing to a mango." He chuckled softly. As the beach slowly began to fill with early morning joggers and dog walkers, Adriano stood up, pulling Liam to his feet. He put on some soft, melodic bossa nova from his phone. "One more dance," he whispered, pulling Liam close. This time, there were no lessons, no awkward fumbling. Liam simply let himself be led, his body responding intuitively to Adriano's gentle guidance. They swayed together, a slow, intimate dance on the sand, the ocean breeze a soft caress. Liam rested his head on Adriano's shoulder, feeling the steady beat of his heart. It was a dance of pure connection, a silent conversation of two souls finally in sync. Adriano tilted Liam's chin up, his gaze tender and full of unspoken promises. And then, under the golden glow of the rising sun, their lips met in a long, tender, and deeply passionate kiss, sealing the unspoken bond between them. It was a kiss that tasted of salt, sweet coffee, and the promise of a beautiful, unpredictable future. Chapter 10. Beyond the Itinerary, Mangoes, Mischief, and Mi Amor. The vibrant energy of the Lavagem du Bon Femme was slowly receding, leaving behind a lingering sense of joy and renewal. Liam's flight back to New York loomed, a stark reminder of the meticulously planned life he had left behind, a life that now felt strangely distant and less appealing. He sat with Adriano at a small cafe, sipping strong coffee, the familiar hum of Salvador's streets a comforting soundtrack. His notebook lay open, no longer filled with rigid itineraries but with spontaneous sketches, overheard snippets of conversation, and the beginnings of a new story, one far more vibrant and alive than anything he could have conceived before. "So," Adriano said, his voice soft, "your flight is soon." Liam nodded, a pang in his chest. "Tomorrow morning." He looked at Adriano, his heart aching at the thought of leaving. "I don't want to go." Adriano reached across the table, taking Liam's hand. "Then don't." Liam's eyes widened. "What?" "Stay," Adriano urged, his gaze intense. "A little longer. Or we figure something out. We are good at figuring things out, no? Even with bruised mangoes and bad singing." He smiled, a tender, hopeful smile. Liam thought about his life back home, the deadlines, the quiet apartment, the predictable routine. And then he thought about Salvador, about the laughter, the music, the unexpected adventures, and the man sitting across from him, whose very presence felt like a burst of sunshine. I could extend my trip," Liam mused, a thrill of possibility running through him. "My agent would probably kill me, but life is too short to always follow the rules," Liam, Adriano said, squeezing his hand, "especially when there is so much more to experience." Liam made a decision. It was impulsive, reckless even, but it felt profoundly right. "Okay," he said, a wide grin spreading across his face. "Okay, I'll extend. And then we figure out the rest." Adriano's smile lit up his entire face. Perfecto. Later that day, they found themselves back at the market, the air still thick with the scent of spices and ripe fruit. Adriano picked up a perfectly ripe mango, its skin a vibrant mix of green and red. He held it out to Liam. "For you," he said, his eyes twinkling. "No singing required." Liam took the mango, its smooth, cool skin a comforting weight in his hand. He looked at Adriano, then at the fruit, and a wave of warmth washed over him. He had come to Salvador seeking inspiration, a story to write. He had found a story, yes, but more importantly, he had found a love that was as sweet and intoxicating as the ripest mango, and a connection that promised a lifetime of beautiful, unpredictable mischief. He leaned in and kissed Adriano, right there in the bustling market, a kiss that tasted of mangoes, laughter, and the undeniable promise of Mi Amor. His novel would wait. Life with Adriano was just beginning,